a great time and moment to have you join us yet on another great episode of Enterprise Morning on Enterprise Television. I am Henry Igwibike. Like we do every other day, we'll be going straight to our newspaper reviews in a bit, and after that will be in conversation also for today. So I will get everything all produced for you. We'll love you to please do visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com. Like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV S7. With me today in the studios to do justice to our newspaper reviews, and after that possibly will be in conversation, is someone we are that's fast becoming our in-house analyst on Enterprise Television, and no other but Cyril Abaku. He is a journalist and public affairs commentator. Good morning to you, Cyril.
Good morning.
And welcome to Enterprise Morning.
It's a joy.
Thank you for always making our time to be part of our show.
It's a joy.
Thank you so very much. So quickly, let's start off with the Guardian newspaper for today. And the big story there says the federal government shows financial inclusion, imposes more taxes on citizens and depositors. And also we have it from the same Guardian. Federal government certifies Tinubu feat, explains absence. But we just got a report right about now that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is right back in Nigeria, of course, to pick up from where he stopped before his absence. And still on the Guardian newspaper, we have NAC higher tariff review for discos light or a darkness, and also petrol price rise as federal government struggles to sustain supply. APC OK's assemblies plot to impeach Fubara, and so many other stories. But Mr. Abaku, let's talk about the federal government. We have it on the Guardian newspaper. I guess that was when they, I want to believe, didn't get the information that he was about to come back. But right now he is back to the country. But is there supposed to be something missing in between the gap? Federal government assuring Nigerians that Tinubu is fit, and of course trying to explain his absence. So does that mean possibly there's something that we are not knowing?
Well, if the headline you read for its own sake of it is an attempt to explain the president's absence, then it was a very bad job.
A bad job on the side of
his handlers.
Oh, okay.
Then secondly, I don't think that they set out to explain his absence. What they've done in the past 9 days thereabout is to divert our attention from the fact that the president has been absent. Now, let me bring this home. Essentially, the president went to Holland, from Holland, Saudi Arabia, another Saudi Arabia, 9 days awol, as they say. And there's no explanation for where our president was, what he was doing, who he was with, who he was seeing, where he went, what he ate, anything of the sort.
But before now, we used to know that they said that he had traveled to the UK
for I'm not
a private visit.
Whether it was the UK or, I mean, those are sources in the presidency telling some journalists that the president is in the UK. What we used to know before that was that he would travel to France, where he used to go and get medical attention. But yesterday, what the president, what Dr. Tunji Alausa, Minister of State for Health, said was that the president wasn't even away for medical reasons.
He wasn't away for medical reasons. Okay.
That he gets all his care in Nigeria.
Okay.
And that he was going to come back, and that it was. So where was our president? Is it normal for a president to just disappear like that overnight and nobody sees? Do you know what the president's handlers did? And they did a good job of it. On social media, they kept Nigerians busy. There was nobody questioning where the president was. They kept Nigerians busy talking about P2B. In fact, they went as far as doing a caricature of P2B's face on Twitter and posting and saying P2B went to Canada to go and demarket Nigeria. And then one of the president's senior advisors copied that post from somebody's handle on Twitter and reposted it and said, Bitter Obi. Okay. So Nigerians were busy doing for and against P2B when the real question they should be asking
is, where is our president?
Where's our president? How can a country go 9 days without its president? This is an impeachable offense. The vice president couldn't travel because his own aircraft was faulty. Now, Henry, do you even know that? We don't know who has the authorizing powers, who should authorize the repairs of, because the vehicle in which your president travels, or even VP travels, those are very, very high-level security issues. So who even signs off on the repair? Is it the NSA? Is it the president? On whose orders?
Now, this could be an assumption. This could be an assumption here. But do you think there's a dot that is left on field with respect to the vice president not leaving because it was alleged that his aircraft was faulty and the president not being around? Do you think there's something the handlers are trying to play here? Maybe possibly the vice president taking the position of the president, okay, while he comes back.
No. So, for
as a result of
example,
something
I'm
we
not
don't
aware
know.
that the president even transmitted powers to the vice president to act in my absence. He didn't do that.
Does the constitution permit you to do that, or does it just work autonomously when the president is not around? Of course, it's the vice president that should.
Now, you know that under President Buhari, he wrote to the National Assembly to say, for the time I'll be away, the vice president will be in charge as acting president.
That if he's away for a very long
Yes,
time.
and when he's coming back, when he comes back, he will write back to the National Assembly and then say he has resumed. That's what that's what we knew. We knew that they did under Buhari. Although in subsequent, you know, when Oshibaja started acting, he sacked the DSS DG, he sacked NHIS boss, he sacked and when the next time Buhari was travel, he didn't make the mistake of handing power over to his deputy again. So we understand that there is a constitutional provision for when the president. This is global. Look, when the president is. The law was amended after what happened with Yar'Adua happened. Okay. Because they didn't envisage. There's no place, and you know, we keep saying in our country, we lack. So I think we not. It's not that we lack. We deliberately play blind when it comes to values and morals, because the law, there's no law in the land in any country that can envisage every given scenario. Okay. So when law is drawn from our common morality, our customs, our philosophies, our way of life.
So as we evolve, the law
will have to evolve. Okay. And if you come to any place where the law didn't instantly foresee anything in black and white, the judges have all kinds of powers. There's even one they call the blue pencil rule. There are many rules. A judge can make a judicial intervention in a case where the law didn't specifically say anything. Yes. Okay. So, but ours is a case where leadership is missing. And therefore, where the president is away, and as far as ought to be acting, even if he didn't transmit powers, if matters came to a head where how did the National Assembly award powers to Jonathan? They invented. It wasn't that they invented what they call doctrine of necessity. Okay. It wasn't there before. They invented it. Laws are made for man, not man being made for laws. So bringing the matter back home, how can you even hide behind a lame duck excuse that the presidential aircraft is fault? Why didn't they just say that they have weighed the impact of the import of the meeting and that it was better to save costs? It's as simple as that. That let the foreign minister, not the foreign minister, Minister of Finance and Foreign Minister, or Minister of Finance should be the one going, or Minister of Trade.
But is there any
because they will be the ones to know. The Minister of Trade, all right, and Investment should be the one who knows the areas in the economy where we need intervention. It's as simple as that. Why will you why will you say the aircraft is faulty? Do you know there are some things you do? If sometimes you want to rent a house, they say they want to see your bank statement. True. You want to put children in school, they say they want to see your bank statement. So if you now tell them that you have problem, you are telling them why they should not even accept you in the first place. They are not angry with you and they're not offended, but they're just saying, you know what? If you're somebody who has this sort of fluctuations and stuff, there are even some causes, Henry, in some schools that you cannot undertake if you don't have up to 100 million in your bank account as, you know, as balance, minimum. So if you now come and say, sorry, I was supposed to have 100 million, but I had an emergency, they say, okay, you know what? It's fine. But we just know that you are not qualified for this. So when you begin to say the presidential aircraft is faulty, it didn't develop fault all these weeks and all this month. It was on the day you're supposed to go for an international conference. How bad
But is there anything wrong? Is there anything wrong in the vice president, taking a chartered flight? Is that wrong?
That again is now you're asking me, but the president himself took a chartered flight from say Amsterdam.
Yes, from Netherlands,
to Riyadh. So whatever happened with the vice president doing the same thing, this now lays credence to the argument you made. Again, assuming without conceding. But the fact remains that for me, I think this must then be a regime or an administration that lacks very, very basic essentials of statecraft that lacks, yes, touch with, there are several servants in the system. Look, political employees don't have all the solutions. Political employees are meant to be for a number of reasons. One, maybe for political, what's it called? For political compensation sometimes. Then number two, also for maybe somebody who has extra specialization in certain areas. But believe me, the people who staff the ministries and MDAs are people who have been in government sometimes 10, 15, 20, 30 years. They know all the ins and outs. They can advise you. The stability of Gowon's government was because the senior civil servants that he brought close to himself. The likes of Ahmed Joda, and a number of them.
Yeah,
they are there. How can you come and say the jet was faulty? So the foreign minister should go. If Abini show, we didn't even weigh that conference to be something of substance, then it was better we didn't even say we are going to be. After all, how many of our peers in Africa are going to be there? Is South Africa going to be there? Well, I don't know.
No.
It's let's say Ghana or Kenya are going to be there. I thought we were supposed to be the biggest economy in Africa. These people should be coming to us. And not us even going to them. So we should be sending a mid-level delegation to those places. So to think that we nearly went, and that we now said that it was because of a faulty. Yes. Like I said yesterday, there are some things that when damage happens to your reputation, it will take you a century to repair.
Very true.
It will take a very long time to repair it.
Very true. All right, quickly, let's move on to our next daily for today. It's coming from the Vanguard newspaper, and the big story here says oil block. Federal government removes signature bonus to woo investors. And we have on the top strip of the same newspaper, a popular new masquerade actress Valeria dies at 81. Now, for those, of course, not the Gen Zs, of course, those who were there when the new masquerade was prime time, we all would remember Valeria. She has passed on at 81. May God rest her soul. So let's also go to other stories here. A controversy trails CBN's security levy on electronic transaction. Mr. Baku, let's take two fundamental stories here. Number one is federal government removing signature bonuses to woo investors. And the question is, does that mean that Nigeria has gotten to a point where we're now begging, literally begging for investors, even when we have the best of products?
No, we're not begging for investors. I think it only shows the poverty of thinking.
What do you mean?
Well, every country is reduced to the level of the thinking of its leadership. So if this is where we are now, that it now has the similitude of us begging for investors, is that not what you said?
Yeah, for oil block.
For oil block people to come. No, how many people are going to invest in oil block?
We have 17 of them.
How many people are going to invest in those oil blocks that are manned by thieves and rogues and people? A sector, okay, maybe you don't get what I'm saying. Those oil blocks, if you pump oil out of those blocks, you're pumping it into the hands of thieves. That is the reality.
Bunkering, you're talking about
illegal oil bunkering. Okay. Let me tell you, a country in which Shell is divesting, Chevron is divesting, right? All the big oil majors are divesting. Who will come and now invest? A country in which it was Don Elumelu who said 98% of everything they were piping out from Bonny also was being stolen. That's not theft. That's not theft. That's not theft. I don't call that theft. If you work in a factory, in a hotel, in a anywhere where 98%, let me use the word factory, maybe you're producing Crocs and you produce 20 per day, and 18 of that 20 is stolen or goes missing. You shouldn't be looking for any thief that is wrong. You should arrest the manager of that company. If people stole 2 or 3, it's a different thing. But that as much as up to 90% of what you produce was stolen, you shouldn't be looking for. You should arrest them. Where's the inventory? There's a chain. There's a production chain. Where did they go missing? How? This oil industry in Nigeria is made up of thieves and rogues and criminals. So much so that a sitting president could not trust his own navy. He had to go and hire private security people to come and man the waterways. And they are now the ones having altercation with the navy. You are the thief, you are the thief, you are the thief, you are the thief. when the Navy is known by the Constitution and the so-called private security plan, not even known anywhere. And you wonder how, when the president empowered them, how did they get their weapons? The private security company, how did they get those weapons that they're using? How did they train? How are they able to stand toe to toe with? So there are a lot of questions. A country in which you will find people came to steal oil with a vessel that was the size of an entire village or 2 villages put together, and we didn't see it. DSS didn't pick it. Naval Intelligence didn't pick it. Defense didn't pick it. Army didn't pick it. Air Force didn't pick it. Police didn't pick it. That's you know when they talk of HIV that later becomes AIDS. You know there are two things, right? When the immune system has been destroyed, then anything can enter.
Invade, yeah.
That's where we are, in a place where our walls as a country have been broken down.
So how can we sanitize it?
No, so to sanitize, it is easy to sanitize. You must have a government. Look at you. Are you aware that even this current Navy chief, Ogala, is being accused of oil theft? Now, I want to believe he's not guilty as accused, right? But that such an allegation could even be brought against not commanders, not flag commanders, but against the head of the Navy itself. And that in spite of that allegation, we have not seen a significant reduction in the activities of oil thieves
in the region,
in the system. You have a country in which, when you produce maybe let's say you pumped out 88 barrels in from the studio here. By the time it moves to, let's say, Lokoja, you may have not up to 5, and nobody is giving any account of where the oil is going. Then you're paying subsidy, you're not paying subsidy, all kinds of things. Are you aware that when we say, we only talk about Saudi Arabia, where they have a technology that has a monitoring system in which every drop of oil is monitored? What stops us from bringing that to Nigeria? So clearly, we have oil in abundance, no doubt about it. Even the other day in Bayelsa, there was a village in which oil was seeping out of the ground. I think somewhere in Nembe or so. Oil was just coming out of the ground. No, there was nobody to. In Ogoni land, there's a lot of it. You have not structured the industry. It is why all these oil majors are. So if the oil majors are going, who will come? Maybe Chinese companies that love to come and do corruption here. Maybe they will come. But for those who understand the business, what will? And let me tell you this: I don't mean to demarcate my country, but I'm not so sure that our so-called local oil majors have a thorough hang of the oil exploration and drilling technology and everything. I'm not sure they have a thorough hang of it yet.
Very true.
Because the things we've seen of late tell us that they may not have. Look at the flow station issue in Bayelsa. The wellhead just went off, and the whole community. What became of that story?
Very true.
I don't think we have the know-how yet, the way we should.
All right. Quickly, before we wrap up this segment, let's go quickly to the Punch newspaper. Dollar speculation. Federal government rubbishes Binance CEO's bribery allegation. Binance CEO allegation diversionary, no going back on trial. Government officials declare. And on the bottom strip of the same newspaper, cybersecurity levy will worsen hardship, and that's coming from a Labour. Mr. Abaku, in the next 60 seconds, please let's just look at the story. The Binance CEO in the United States of America is alleging that the federal government is demanding $150 million as bribe, so they can wipe off the case against them.
I know. So don't just allege. The law, what the dictum is, he who alleges must prove.
Okay.
So does he have the proof of the allegation he's making?
But do you think he will just wantonly say such without?
Whether I believe him or not is secondary.
Okay.
He needs to, because that's how we are. That's the smoking gun. With which we can tie those officials to the stake, right? So when he says they're asking for a bribe, let him give us the evidence of who asked him for the bribe. Okay, that way we can now say, okay, indeed. Otherwise, anybody can make an allegation against. Forget my perception of what is going on in government. We know how these things happen.
Please speak to a cybersecurity levy.
I don't know why they are bringing
0.5%.
Are you aware? Are you aware that government is planning a fee 8.15 or 15.8 billion economic city centenary project in
yeah,
Abuja.
yeah.
What is that for? What is that a priority? From Calabar Coastal Road to Centenary Project
To build a new Abuja, like they did for Egypt, new capital city.
Come on.
All right, people, that's just about the time we have for our newspaper reviews today. I'd love to say thank you to Mr. Cyril Abaku for being part of our show today.
My
thank
pleasure.
you so very much. All right, so when we return, APC orders the impeachment of Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara. That in a bit when we come back. Please don't go anywhere.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.